Yes, that's right, it's Joe here for Joyrider TV, and as advertised, we are going for a burning lap on the FX1 2. Yes, you can sail the FX1 as a double-handed boat by simply adding a jib and a crew. On this occasion I was out sailing with Lucy, who happened to be the lightest of the instructors on the Whirlwind Beach, coming in at just 50 kilograms. That put our combined weight at 140 kilos. So do stay tuned to the end, because I will be coming up with a conclusion on whether the FX1 2 is a good choice as a double-handed boat. But here we are, just starting off sailing upwind, keeping the sheet tension on as much as possible, and then, as you would expect, taking it off onto a burning reach to see what sort of speed we can get out of this bad boy in this configuration. Like with any sort of sailing, getting the boat going as fast as possible all comes down to getting her pinned in at the right angle and working the main sheet as much as possible. Once again, if you're not working the main sheet pretty much consistently, then you really are at the will of the gods for whether you're in control. So for the highest possible speed, like with many other boats, we're just trying to keep the windward hull out of the water, double trapezed, cranking it hard as far off the wind as possible. So here we're on a broad reach, really cranking the main sheet in. Jib is sheeted perfectly, those telltales absolutely streaming on both sides. And we're right at the back of the boat, because this FX1 2 doesn't have a lot of volume in the bows, and keeping those bad boys just out of the water is certainly the sweet spot to keep it skimming across the top. Very important also on this type of boat is daggerboard positions. We've got the daggerboards about halfway up. And now time to prepare for a spinnaker hoist, and I'm not going to lie to you, this has been cut up because the hoist was so painful due to a burnt out block at the top of the mast. So if your spinnaker hoist isn't so good, check your blocks. So starting off with Lucy on the trapeze, crewing, but we decided that we'd do better if we swapped roles, as the sheet loads were a little high on this occasion, as this was before we switched to the Allen pressure ratchet blocks. So on the downwind as well, we're just trying to keep that windward hull out of the water, but by this point we had sailed out of the wind. So back out on the trapeze for another glory run, back in, just setting up, keeping the weight quite far forwards on the upwind, just to try to keep the tip of the bow into the water. The FX1 2 felt light and balanced on the helm, with very manageable sheet loads, and great fun when you take it off the wind on another screaming reach. So we're just tacking it round on this run, just to see how well she spins. And I'd have to say that the FX1 really does tack on a sixpence. That being due to the flat bottomed hulls and the deep dagger boards. So in conclusion, is the FX1 a good, viable, double-handed boat? Well, firstly, I can safely say it is really good fun to sail. Much less sheet load than on the F18, and it does a very similar job to that of the Formula 16 catamaran, but coming in at a much lower price point if you can find one. FX1s are only available now as a second-hand boat, but to make it a double-handed boat, the kit is available from all good Hobie parts distributors. Two things to stop you buying the boat as a double-hander. Firstly is what your crew weight is. You wouldn't want to be sailing with much more than 140 kilograms on board. And the second thing is, if you were going to be regularly sailing in big sea conditions, then this would be quite an uncomfortable ride, as the boat sits quite low to the water. Definitely a good boat for any lakes or reservoirs, but great fun, weighs in at 120 kilograms and really does give you a lot of speed for your pound. Thanks very much. I'll be back soon with some more on Joyrider TV.